I was feeling a little bit stressed about reading and finishing two over 600 page books in this vlog, but like, who is she? You will know their daily routine. If Fitz had a skincare routine, you would know it. Page 518, the pain is beginning. I literally have tears in my eyes. Lollipop is naked. She's the naked neighbor. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori if you're new, and we are doing a cramming vlog. It is February 26th, so we have 2 days left of the month, and I'm trying to finish 2 chunky books. This one gaslit me. I honestly thought it was 450 to 500 pages because it doesn't look that crazy, but she's over 600 pages. And then the other just absolutely unhinged book that I'm trying to finish before month's end is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. On my Patreon, Silly Goose Lane, we are doing a read-along for this Farseer trilogy, so this is the second book. All of my updates will be very general. Actually, these are both sequel books we love. I only have 4 hours left of this audiobook, and this I need to read at least 300 pages today and tomorrow. So I hope that you're excited. Let's cram in some books before the end of the month, and that way we can start March with new books, new reads. It's gonna be a fun time. It's Realmathon. Let's do this. We have a hazelnut oat milk shaken espresso with the most beautiful pebble ice I've ever seen in my whole life. It's gonna be a lot of desk reading today because I'm going to be listening to this audiobook to start off with. I am logging into work. I have to do some prep for some meetings that I have later today. And after I listen to a bit of this, I'll give like just an overall general update of my thoughts and feelings.
Every scrap of food that had remained on cook's trays was disposed of, where no one and nothing would taste it.
I have about an hour and a half left to listen to today. I'm trying to think of where to start with this book. My intention for February was to read this a little bit more like slowly throughout the entire month. And so I started February, I listened to about 12% of it, and then I completely put it down and didn't pick it back up until it was like February 24th, and I realized that we had 4 days left of the month, and I still had, I don't know, the better part of 650 pages left to read. So we have been binge listening to this. The audiobook has absolutely saved me. I think overall I've enjoyed the first book more than I've been enjoying Royal Assassin, because the first book was shorter and we were getting introduced to all of these characters, and so everything was like new and fresh and fun because we're figuring everything out. Whereas now, I mean, this is such a long book and it's very slow. Like, Robin Hobb's style of writing is, you will know these characters, you will know their daily routine. If Fitz had a skincare routine, you would know it. The way that she gets so into the nitty-gritty mundanity of every single day, I feel like I have lived every single day for 10 years with the characters. And I mean that in like a good and a bad way, because I think what's standing out to me the most is there's certain characters who are just like a little bit older. Like the king, for example, is older and like not in great health, and so you see his very slow deterioration over time. I'm not sure exactly how long this book takes place. I was definitely exaggerating a little bit in terms of like every day for 10 years. But the first book, you meet Fitz when he's 6 years old, and then I think he's in his mid-20s when that book concludes. So you do spend like decades with him in the first book, and I think that this as well is taking place over a really long time span. But there's a point to that. Like, I get it. Has the middle of this book, like from really the 15% mark to 76%, been a little bit of a slog? Yes. Has there been like certain big events that have happened? Yeah, maybe like 2, but the majority of this book has been mundane day-to-day life. Things are building. I know that all of these like little details that seem so unimportant and so bland are going to serve a greater purpose. With my experience reading the first book, which was Assassin's Apprentice, I know that her endings, everything really comes together and it happens very quickly. Things are just being dragged out, and I do wish that it just moved a little bit faster. My one saving grace in this book has been the Fool. I love the Fool. I love him very much. He's so funny, but also he's going through it in this book as well, so I'm like, oh my god, my baby! But we have gotten to see a lot more of him in this one than we did in the first. But I'm starting to get scared because in March I plan to read the final book, Assassin's Quest, and I've heard that that book is like the least favorite of the three, and if I'm already struggling with this one, that doesn't make me want to like jump into the next one right away. Something literally just happened and I was listening to the audiobook and I said, that's not real. I must have misheard. No. I went to the physical book to make sure to read it with my actual eyeballs of what just happened. So page 518, the pain is beginning. I literally have tears in my eyes. 150 pages of this book are all pain and suffering. Oh my god. Oh my god. Besties, we have only an hour left of Royal Assassin, so I'm going to finish this up today, which I'm very excited about. I don't want to say distracting myself, but like keeping myself entertained while listening to this book. Working on my Shrek bucket hat, which is coming out so cute. It's a little bit longer, like lower than what I had initially wanted. See what I mean? It kind of covers my eyeballs. When I do that, it looks crazy. But I already unraveled this an entire first time because I made it too big. I used too big of a hook. So this is my second attempt, and then the thought of just like unraveling one or two rows to make it like a little bit shorter, I was like, no, that's not for me. Is what I was working on. To be honest, I don't have a lot of updates for Royal Assassin. I also realized I didn't give any type of summary for what the first book is. So the first book is Assassin's Apprentice. I know a lot of people know about the series, so I'm not gonna get like too into it, but our main character is Fitz. He is a bastard son of a king in waiting. So he has a complicated relationship with the royal family. He's treated like an outcast except for the king. King Shrewd said, no, I do want to kind of take you in and have you train and do things for me in a certain way. He kind of becomes like a pawn in this whole royal family political scheme. So he starts to train in the arts of an assassin. And then there is a magic system in this world as well. They call it skilling. It's very, very political. I feel like if you liked Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, you would really like these books. I'm not sure if that's a typical comparison, but that's like such a political book, and the pacing is very similar in that they are so slow. And then I have a little bit of an update on Glow, but again, I realized I didn't give any like synopsis for this series. This is also, it's just that these series are both so beloved that I was like, is it necessary? But just in case you haven't heard of them, the first book in the Kindred's Curse saga is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. In this series, we follow our main character, Diem. She lives in a mortal world that is colonized by gods, ruled over by the Descended, their cruel, magic-wielding offspring. Diem definitely has a hatred, and a lot of the mortals have a hatred towards the gods. But we're following Diem after her mother suddenly disappeared. The discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offers Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries that her mother left behind. This first book I gave 3 stars. I listened to it on audio during Romantasy-a-thon last year. The audiobook was good. I just didn't like love the story. However, we are 10% into Glow. I ended up getting the audiobook for this one as well because it was on sale on Audible. I almost wish that I had started the series reading this book instead. I don't know if that would have gone over smoothly. Like in my head, it sounds like a good idea, only because I'm so much more interested right where this book starts. And you also get a lot of recap from book 1 in these first couple chapters. I'm only on chapter 6. I think I'm at the start of chapter 7. Immediately, there's such better like tension, there's better plot that starts from the very beginning in this one. My opinion is that Spark reads more like a prequel and should be optional. Most scenes so far in this book, when Diem is like in her room left alone, Girly Pop is naked. Girly Pop is just a naked girl. She doesn't like to wear clothes. I don't know what's going on. And then every time someone knocks on her door, she's just like, she's the naked neighbor. And then Luther will like be on the other side of the door when she opens it, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm also like, girl, what are you doing? But it makes for good tension. So it feels very silly goofy at the moment. I don't know if it's supposed to get more serious, but we will explore that together. I know that I'm wearing double green at the moment with my shirt and my hat. They don't go together. Obviously, I had to wear the finished hat for this clip. I just wanted to check in and say that we are over the 100 page mark now in Glow. And I've never wanted to slap a main character more. She just needs some sense slapped into her in the most like loving way possible, but also not the most loving way because she's really annoying me. Henry is not the one. Henry's not the one. He's not. Officially made it to page 307, so we're at the halfway point in Glow. Take that as a good sign because I am literally loving this so much. It is so fast-paced. It's interesting that this is so political. It's so juicy and like so political because Royal Assassin was also extremely political, but it's like such a different flavor of political fantasy. Oh my gosh, this is moving so fast in all of the ways that I need it to. The sense of relief that I have reading this and like loving it, because so many people were telling me that I need to read this series and that they love it and I wanted to be part of that group. And this has never happened to me before. Like usually if a fantasy romance that's like super popular hits for so many people, I am usually a part of that group. I'm usually the #1 fan. And this one with Spark like really shook me to my core because I was like, is this the one series that like I'm gonna be left out from loving? No, I'm loving it. I think the big things that stand out to me right now, Sarai is one of my favorite characters. I love her. I love her, Your Honor. She's so good. She's so perfect. I love her. I'm suspicious of a certain main character. I feel like we're being led down a path to believe one thing and then like something's gonna pop up and it's gonna be like a snake in the grass, you know what I mean? But my eyes are on this character because like I don't believe that everything's as easy as it's making it seem. The last thing, I love how Diem, I mean, I don't love everything about her. There's definitely moments that I'm really frustrated with her, but I understand where she's coming from. Like, I think that her characterization is done well, that even though you're frustrated with her character, you understand why she's like hanging on to certain things and certain beliefs. But I also love that I love the struggle that we see. She also struggled in the first book as well, but I just think I wasn't as into the plot of that first book, whereas this one, I'm behind the plot. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving how juicy it is and the drama and everything that's happening. But I really enjoy watching Diem like struggle in this one because I think it just makes so much sense, especially because she's only 20 years old, which is insane. I do like the audiobook, but I think for me, when I start to immersive read, it just helps me get like that much more into the story. And so I'm so happy to be immersive reading this. I have 3 hours and 26 minutes left of the book, which is so doable for tomorrow. It is right now 11:43, so I'm gonna go lay in bed and go to sleep, but we are going to finish this book tomorrow. I'm excited, but now I'm gonna go to sleep and think about this book and think about Luther. Off to go get a matcha and read in the park, which has been my favorite thing because we've been having perfect weather lately. That is the plan. And then we're gonna finish Glow, which I'm also so excited about. I'm thinking that this is going to be like a high 4-star. We'll see if that prediction comes true. This is so juicy. I just finished chapter 26. Oh my gosh, the drama, the way that people, it's all like verbal sparring, which I think is really fun. I mean, I also think it's fun in fantasy books, obviously, when there's like actual battles, and there is this like battle that's being hinted at this entire time. But the verbal sparring that Diem has to deal with and navigate around every single day is crazy, and the one that she just did was like absolutely insane. The only other thing, I hope that Ileana gets what's coming to her. I hope that she gets what's coming to her. Made it to page like 500. I think I'm just like 498 or something like that. I have just over an hour left in the audiobook. I knew that we were building towards this like fight, like battle thing that I was talking about earlier, but oh my gosh, like the build up for it has been so intense, and I love that. I love this underdog setup because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's not a clear answer, and that's always my favorite because it's so tense and it just makes you want to keep reading. Whereas like if a character is so OP, like just so overpowered throughout the whole book, you're like, okay, well, whatever challenge they face is going to be like easy. It's going to be pretty clear cut unless like a different plot twist happens. But Diem is a character that you're kind of constantly questioning because she's been making so many mistakes through this book and stuff like that, that you're like, I don't know. I just don't know. So we have been in the park for like 2.5 hours, I think. So I am going to head back home. I'm hungry. And then we're going to finish this book. I am dying to see this ending. Like, I am so in it. This was such a good, I think, balance between the two books that we picked up. And I think I mentioned that before, but like, I'm just really happy because I feel like this book is exactly what I needed. And it makes me so happy that like I finally
I can be part of the hype. I can be part of the hype train. That makes me so excited. The only other thing I meant to say about this book was that it's kind of reminding me of Heavenly Bodies, only in the like dynamic with the FMC. So like in Heavenly Bodies, the FMC is also like an outsider. She's brought to a different realm, like a different area. And like Diem is also kind of this outsider. And the way that like there's a dynamic with like a prince is similar. And I don't want to say found family because I feel like, well, this one definitely has found family because I'm going to say found family. The way that they have this like found family of this group of friends that like takes them in and really helps them, I think is very similar as well. And that was one of my favorite parts of Heavenly Bodies. Like I love the plots in both of these very, very much, but like just the cast of characters and how they're interacting with each other really reminds me of Heavenly Bodies, and I loved that book as well. That was a 5-star. So I'm so curious to see like what this ending is going to be. I think it might be a 5-star prediction, which is crazy because going into this book, I was like, Spark was a 3-star, like this is probably going to be a 3-star. Like I had some, I don't know, preconceived notions of where this book was going to land, and they have just been blown out of the water. So let's go kind of refuel, reset, prepare ourselves for emotional damage because I feel like that's what's happening. Earlier, I was literally trying not to cry in the club. Like I was so close. I was staring off into the distance. Something happens in this book that it's like, so it's such a gut punch. It's such an emotional gut punch that was so hard. So yeah, I was trying not to cry, and then there were puppies running around me. So I was like, just focus on the puppies, just focus on the puppies. We have finished her. Through the sheer power and will of snacky snacks, matcha, mostly matcha, and some coffee, and the power of crocheting, we have finished 2 books that are well over 600 pages. I am giving Glow of the Everflame 4 stars. I did really love it. I cannot wait to continue. I love how slow burn it is. By the end of this book, I was like, wait, we like didn't even really get anything besides like kissing. Like what is happening? I love how slow burn it is. I am excited to read, I think the next one is Heat, but I can't wait to read the next one. Although I know that the 3rd book is out. The 4th book is like nowhere in sight. So that makes me nervous. I think also because this ended on such a massive cliffhanger that I can't wait to start the next book. But then I'm assuming that the next book also ends on a cliffy, and that's why people are so upset that the next book, like the publishing date got pushed back and we like don't know when it's coming out and all of these crazy sad things. So we'll see when I get to the 3rd one, but I am officially going to add the series to my series tracker in my bullet journal because I was holding off on doing that because the jury was still out after reading Spark, but I think it's official that we're going to continue with the series. Thank you so much for watching, friends. If you had fun and would like to let me know that you were here in the comments, please leave a little flame emoji for Glow of the Everflame. I will catch you in the comments, and I will see you in my next one very soon. Toodles!